In case you've been living under a rock for the past 21 days, Harman Phoenix 200 is one of the biggest things to happen in film photography in the last little while, and I'm going to delve into that later in the video, but welcome to San Francisco on Film. This is part 2 of a video series that I want to do charting the adventures that I've had in San Francisco with friends and film. Today's episode is about Phoenix 200. These videos will be out of chronological order as Harman Phoenix is the video I want to publish first, and it's definitely the most interesting from a worldly perspective. Before I talk about these reviews, I want to preface that I am 100% for this film stock. I am not bashing on it. One interesting thing about the reviews on this film stock from the creators that received it early is that none of them had objectively positive things to say about the film, saying things like, character is a good word for this film and it oozes it, with results that differ wildly from other color films available at the moment. Phoenix 200 is a unique film stock that showcases an aesthetic not found anywhere else. It's out-lomoing lomography. That is another way that I would take for saying that it is creative, but not clinically perfect. I enjoyed shooting it for its wonderful warm tones and the bursts of glowy halation. The colors may surprise you as they seem to do magical things under certain lighting conditions. The analog aesthetic is truly amazing, just can't be matched by shooting digital and applying a film preset. This is the real thing. Clearly, these reviewers are either sugarcoating it because they want Harman to succeed, or Harman has told them to not be hypercritical about this film so that it can have the chance to spread its wings and take off. I'm of the opinion that people should understand the greater idea of this film rather than just expecting pretty pictures to come of it, and understanding that this isn't just a film stock that's come out, this is a brand new future for Harman in developing color film. And while this one is a quote-unquote creative or not perfect film stock, maybe in the future we can expect something a little bit more clinically exact, perfect, something to rival Kodak. I'm sure we've seen the underwhelming results that people have gotten with this film stock, and I just want to say that for the record, it seems like this film is very dependent on who scans it, what scans it, and how it is inverted. I'm suspecting Harman knew about this as they gave specific instructions to labs all over that received this film about how to scan and invert the images from it. It is a very interesting roll of film. So let's jump to day 2.5 or day 2 in San Francisco, where I load this film up in my Fujica GL690, where I'll be shooting 24 by 80 millimeter panoramics with it. I have this panoramic adapter that creates a cutout on your film to provide a 24 by 80 millimeter window, and it also holds your film flat as you run 35 millimeter film through this camera. Now, this is all very complex, so of course I made a couple of mistakes. Inside the GL690 there is a cog wheel cylinder that rotates according to how much film has gone through or across the plane in the camera, and it allows the advance lever to know when to stop, when you're on the next frame, proper spacing, yada yada yada. When you put 35 millimeter film into this camera, it doesn't grab onto the same points that 120 film would. So that cylinder that measures how much film has gone through the camera already doesn't turn. When I was advancing film, I was advancing the lever once. Normally, it takes 1.5 to 2 advances to get the film all the way to its proper place. However, in this instance, I was only advancing it once. My reasoning behind this is because the night prior I was shooting some Pro 400H. I guess the take-up spool that was in there was slightly too tight for the Pro 400H, and it didn't wrap around the cylinder perfectly. So because of the larger diameter of the take-up spool's backing paper, it was moving the film more quickly through, so I didn't have to advance the lever as much. However, when I went to open the back of the camera, I was greeted with a roll that wasn't tightly bound, and I had to unload it in a dark bag and then rewind it by hand. This has happened before, and I'm not quite sure why. But because of my day worth of shooting, advancing once to the next frame, I unfortunately did the same thing with 35mm, which, because of its smaller diameter, was not pulling as much film through. Therefore, we ended up with some funky overlaid images. And I wish I could say they were artistic, but I really don't believe they are. I finally found a place or a time where it makes sense to vlog, like take a video, and have it not feel like a waste of time that I could be out shooting. I royally screwed up with the original shots, so now I am going to retry at the Salt Lake City Capitol building instead of in San Francisco. And here's the yellow film base. Wow, that looks more yellow than it did before. Bizarre. I've got the GL690 without its lens on, because what I need to do is I need to throw my hands into this dark bag, and I need to pretty much roll the film onto a new spool so that as I'm shooting, the film winds back into the provided canister that comes with the Phoenix 200. When I picked this roll, oh dang, I wish I had it ready, because that's cute. They're doing like bridles. Very modern way of doing bridles. Oh, they've got people on the steps. Would you look at that? When I went to go pick this up from Ken at Essential, he told me that some of the people in the lab at Essential enjoy shooting Phoenix at 50 ISO, which is 2 stops overexposed, which is crazy to me. That sounds crazy. I'm putting the rolls in the bag as well as the camera, and then by the time I pull my hands out of here, we'll have a loaded camera. Well, the guys at Harman, they suggest that the film be shot at 125. Well, I guess the scientists, they say it's technically rated at 125 ISO, which makes sense to me, and I'll probably end up shooting most of it at 125 or 50. Haven't decided yet. Okay, so we've got the film in there, so we're pretty much good to just close it up. Et voila. And we'll just throw the lens back on and we'll go get to shooting. So hopefully I can get the full 18 shots, and hopefully I can even get those 18 shots done. Oh, I don't like that. That's a tough advance. Okay, that's the first shot. Using the Sunny 16 roll, I shot this one at 125 ISO, and it looks all right. I didn't do too much in the edit. I just lowered the contrast, upped the shadows, and made the black levels look okay.
Hurry up. Right here in the middle. Quickly, quickly. Up. There you go. Right there.
Dang. Make this a motion picture, pan down to someone walking out of the White House with a black briefcase, and you have Mission Impossible 7. Much to my chagrin, I again lowered the contrast in this image, bumped up the shadows, and made the black levels look okay. Being a sucker for financial ruin, I lined up for another shot, this time metering at 50 ISO instead of 125 ISO. At this point, I'm starting to sound like a TikTok. I lowered the contrast, boosted the shadows, and made the black levels look alright. Do you ever want to take a photo of somebody, but you don't want to act conspicuous? It's the predicament I'm in right now. But hopefully that turns out. It didn't, and I'm quite upset because look at how dark that man is in the shadow. Lucky for me, a little bit of boost to the shadows will reveal him a little bit more, but still, I did not want my photo to look so crushed. And it's not like the shadow of the bench would have hidden him anyways, because there's a clear shadow cast from his shoulder behind him that should have added a little bit of light to him, but instead he just sunk right into the shadow of the bench. Oh, puppy dog. Why hello, friendly puppy dog.
Sorry, did she interrupt your...
No.
Okay.
No, she added to it.
Oh, good.
5-star experience.
Thank you, good.
Finally, indeed. I had been waiting for this shot for quite a while because there's tons of people that walk around on Saturdays here. But I'm kind of confused because this shot seems to have more information in the shadows, even though I shot this at 125 ISO rather than at 50 ISO, which would be overexposing it by a bit more and leaving less information in the shadows. So I'm beginning to think maybe there's something off about these scans. Lesson learned the hard way, I guess. Do not overexpose Phoenix 200 in daylight, otherwise you'll lose your highlight detail and your shadow detail all in one go. This is a very expensive and not a fun mistake to make. On a lighter note, these all look like deep fried meme formats just waiting to happen. The one lady in the white jacket is just a vibe. I don't know why that looked so cool. Hopefully it turns out in the film. Huh. Now, I would love to say that I enjoy shooting this film and it fills a void in my soul. However, it just doesn't do that. It doesn't meet the need of creativity. It doesn't meet the need of exactness. It is just a film that reproduces images, and in my opinion, it's not very pleasing. I know Harman has made comments about how they're also not satisfied with this first iteration, and I think a lot of people echo that same sentiment. I'm a little more brazen in my opinion, and probably a little more forthgoing with the way I talk about it. but I would love to see this film progress to a state where I choose it over other films. In this current state, it won't do that, but I hope an age of new and exciting film is on the horizon. I hope this is not the end of Harman's journey. The last thing I want to comment on about Harman is their overall transparency when it comes to what their plans are with this film. Right on the inside of the box, every single one of them, there's a message that reads like this: "It's limited edition. We are very proud of what we have achieved with this film, but it is also our first step into the world of color. Sales from this film will allow us to further invest, refine, and improve our formulations, coding capabilities, and our color technology. Our aim is that each new color film we produce will be an improvement on the previous." In plain lettering, right in front of your face, they admitted to this film being a first step, and it's also their first go at it. It is to be expected that they don't get it perfect right on the first try, but they're going to reinvest the proceeds from this film into iterating, improving. It's rare to hear that type of transparency when it comes to any type of company. Ever since I started shooting film about 1.5 years ago, it has been mum's the word from Fujifilm and Kodak, but Harman being upfront and honest about their plans for this and what's to be expected from them is comforting. And I hope you find it comforting too. So if you're tired of Kodak constantly raising prices of their portrait products, consider buying Harman Phoenix 200 for $3 less. Actually, it's closer to $5 after tax. So that's it. Got a blast.